It's 12:02, and I'm calling the City of Laredo's Historic District Landmark Board to order at 12:02. May we begin with the roll call?
Yes, sir. Jenny Narvaez,
Present?
Jorge Santana,
Present.
Sara Villarza, Teresa Barker, Ana Villarreal,
Present.
Wayne Nance,
Here.
Francisco Paco Barrientos,
Present.
Priscilla Iglesias,
Here.
and Mark Gonzalez. For the record, Mr. Chair, you do have a quorum.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve those that are not present?
Second.
Yes. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to approval of minutes for the regular meeting of August 14th, 2025. If anyone's had an opportunity to review the minutes and give an approval.
I motion.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Do we have any citizen comments?
Not at this time.
Okay. We're going to move on to a public hearing in consideration of the following, opening a public hearing to item 6A. 6A is a public hearing consideration of a motion to consider facade improvements to the Plaza Theater, which includes exterior alterations, new construction, demolition, and restoration on lots 2, 8, 9, and west 1/3 of lot 3, approximately 2,057.75 square feet, block 46, Western Division, located at 1018 and 1012.5 Hidalgo Street, and 1013 and 1017 Farragut Street. This property is within the Old Mercado Historic District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, we do have granting or denying an application is as follows. As per the Laredo Land Development Code, section 24.1.2.2.2, the Historic District Government Board shall utilize the Secretary of the Interior Standards for rehabilitation and illustrated guidelines for rehabilitating historic buildings and the City of Laredo, Texas Historic Urban Design Guidelines. Here's a list of the Secretary of Interior Standards, a continuation of the Secretary of Interior Standards, and then we have the item. For the record, we have applicant, City of Laredo owner, Joseph Neb as the city manager, and applicant is Ricardo Solis as a representative. Property location is lots 2, 8, 9, and the west 1/3 of lot 3, approximately 2,057.75 square feet, block 46, Western Division, located at 1018 and 1012.5 Hidalgo Street, and 1013 and 1017 Farragut Street. The property is within the Old Mercado Historic District. The proposed scope of work includes alterations, renovations, and repairs that will alter the exterior facade, which include replacement of neon tube lighting with LED primary green incision skeletonized lighting, replacement of chrome finished door hardware with Art Deco style antique brass handles on existing front doors, reconstruction of the damaged canopy and tile walls of the north facade, installation of a new stucco ceiling beneath the canopy, reconstruction of the canopy roof with new TPO roofing and drainage, replacement of existing light fixtures above north exit doors. Continuation of the proposed scope of work, repairs and renovations that will not alter the exterior facade, which include cleaning, refinishing, and repair of existing wood doors, frames, tile work, terrazzo flooring, metal panels, and brick, repointing brick mortar to match existing, cleaning and repainting stucco and metal components, repainting existing wrought iron and storefronts features for maintenance. Continuation of the proposed scope of work, a partial demolition of Building A, which is 1012.5 Hidalgo Street, which is a building adjacent to the Plaza Theater. This includes the demolition of the real building, which includes brick, glass block, and corrugated and TPO roofs, with the exception of the front facade of Building A for the new expansion. And we have new construction to the rear of Building A, which is 1012.5 Hidalgo Street. Again, is the adjacent building to the Plaza Theater. Is new construction of a building addition behind the remaining facade of Building A, which includes stucco walls, metal coping, steel windows, and metal doors.
I'm gonna stop you just for a minute. Just to be clear, on that building, on Building A, they're proposing to demolish all of the building with the exception of the facade. So it's not a rear building, it's all of the building with the exception of the facade, okay? Go ahead.
Letter Center 22, we have none for, none against. Previous action on September 15th, 2005, the Historic District Landmark Board approved a request for facade restoration and improvements to the Plaza Theater's lighting and marquee sign. Background type of the building type of the Plaza Theater, as per the 1997 Historic Urban Design Guidelines, this was built in 1947 by H.B. Zachary Construction Company in the Art Moderne style. Features a mix of horizontal, vertical, and concave convex design elements. This entrance includes a concave recess and an octagonal ticket booth, a prominent marquee projects over the sidewalk. Above the marquee are vertical metal elements under a cantilevered flat roof. Two main vertical features include a full-height concave cylinder and the plaza vertical sign with a spire. Green tile is the primary facade material. Building type of the Plaza Theater continued. As per the 1996 Historic Preservation Plan, it contains 2,400 feet of neon lighting, and this was the only historic theater in Laredo which maintained its historic integrity. Building A, which is the building adjacent to the Plaza Theater, this is a separate commercial building that is adjacent to the Plaza Theater. Aerial view, street view, off of 1018 Hidalgo Street. This street view from Farragut Street, this is the rear of the Plaza Theater. Street view of 1012.5 Hidalgo Street. This is the facade that's going to be remaining. 1017 and 1013 Farragut Street. The arrow on top and back, that's what's going to be demolished. And this building will be remaining. The one facing Farragut. The site plan. We have proposed skeleton lighting and new front door hardware in the front of the facade of the Plaza Theater. The front facade of the Building A to remain. The proposed partial demolition and new construction, which is behind the remaining facade, and the building to remain in the back, in front of Farragut. These are the elevations. We have the south elevation, which is the front of the Plaza Theater, the north elevation, which is behind the Plaza Theater, and we have the east elevation. These are the proposed new materials. We have the existing neon tube lighting, and then we have the proposed skeletonized lighting. And we have the existing front door handle hardware and the proposed new hardware. This is the proposed rendering. Continuation of the proposed rendering. A continuation of the rendering from the rear, from the back of the Plaza Theater. And this is the side view of the proposed rendering, and that's what the arrow is pointing at. That is the new construction. And the recommendation is staff supports all the proposed scope of work listed below, as it preserves the historic character and does not alter the exterior facade. And this is a more detailed list of the proposed scope of work and the reasonings. And the continuation of those reasonings of the proposed scope of work of support. Staff general comments. And the proposed motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item or against?
Good afternoon, members of the Landmark Board. My name is Rick Solis. I'm a partner with Able City. I'm here joined by Victor Montes, the project manager for this job. Again, obviously, we're in favor of this. We've been working long and hard on this project to try to maintain the integrity, but also find a way to modernize it a little bit in a way that's respective to what was originally there. Essentially, the demolishing of the adjacent building is for us to be able to provide ADA restrooms, an elevator, another stair, exit stair. So that's essentially why we chose that route. That way we weren't really affecting the integrity of the Plaza Theater itself. So we're obviously, I don't know if you want to say anything, Victor. But
No, I did come across some images of the new neon lighting that we're proposing. I don't know if there's a way for me to present that, but just so you get an idea of the color that matches what we're having.
Well, you could probably plug it in there into the podium on the side. There's a little, right there.
The only thing that I would want to mention is that I'm very happy that finally this is happening, and this was a very important it's a very important part of our history, and it's coming back to life and in the right way, and I'm very happy, very, very happy.
Yes. And it's gonna be this one. Mhm. Just gonna go through these real quick then.
Are you doing neon or LED?
So this is going to be neon. It's a skeletonized neon lighting.
So the main thing, the reason why we're switching to LED, to this skeletonized system, is that the neon is very finicky,
Yes.
and it's hard to maintain, and it's very expensive to maintain.
But I think I've seen those before. They look almost exactly the same.
And they use all the same anchor points. Pretty much it's very hard to tell the difference,
Yes.
but obviously they're way more
Yes. And I think they consume less energy and all of that,
user-friendly.
right?
Correct,
Yes, yes.
exactly.
Yeah, and so I kind of wanted to point out these are the existing neon lights that are on the building, and you can see here there's a little bit broken connections, and so we're proposing that the contractor use the same connection areas so that we minimize the implications on the building facades. We don't want to make any more holes than we need to. And so you can see here there is roughly a good amount of neon all throughout. And what the city did mention is that it gets vandalized a lot, and so they're always having to constantly repair it. Neon lights, their neon tubing is a bit expensive, and once you take part of it, the whole thing goes out. So then this is an image of the existing right now, with how it looks at night. What we're proposing is more on the inside. What we're proposing is these are the Incision skeletonized neon LED lights. So the color we're picking, can you see my mouse? Oh, is the green, the prime green. Again, trying to match as close as possible to the existing. We don't want to change any of the colors. And these are some examples of the actual installation of it. So this one on the right is an exterior. So you can see kind of, it very mimics neon to the degree. And here's another application. You can see it from this on the inside. So, but yeah, we came across these images yesterday from our subcontractor. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant or for city staff?
I have a question for staff. Okay, the question is, looking at agenda item 6C, where there's a proposal for an ordinance to prohibit illuminated signage along historic plazas, does this neon lighting sign affect in any way the proposed ordinance?
We did think about that when we were writing the ordinance. They would be vested. Their building permits are already been submitted, I think, right? Yes, I'm assuming so. So they would be vested under the old ordinance.
Okay.
So if a building had sign like this that has those signs since 80 years, I don't know how many years, 70 years, will they be grandfathered? Or people that now has signage would be grandfathered into the new or no?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, if we could prove that that signage existed prior to the adoption of the ordinance, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
If there are no other questions for staff, what sort of action would the board like to take?
Move to approve.
So you have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Moving on to item 6B, public hearing and consideration of a motion to consider facade repair and restoration on Block 10, Western Division, located at 217 San Agustin Avenue. This property is within the San Agustin de Laredo Historic District.
Thank you, sir. So the applicant is the Diocese of Laredo owner, and the representative would be Teresa Fonseca. The location of this project is Block 10, Western Division, located at 217 San Agustin Avenue. The property is within San Agustin de Laredo Historic District, and the proposed scope of work, the applicant is proposing to modify, repair, and rehabilitate 60 windows on the Santa Monica Parish Hall. Letters sent, 23, 04, and 0 against. Previously, the Historic District Landmark Board approved on September 13th, 2018, the demolition of the existing San Agustin Avenue ramp and the construction of a new accessible ramp, additional concrete landings, and connecting canopies. On November 8th, 2018, the board approved multiple mechanical and electrical upgrades, including new copper lines, AC connections, architectural louvers, emergency lighting, conduit installations, and several HVAC penetrations across the Grant Street, South Alley, and East Facade areas to support building ventilation, safety, and utility needs. For the purpose of this presentation, we're referencing a window. The window itself that we are referencing, I guess, would be the glass, and then the window frame would be the exterior of it. The window types that are going to be presented in this project, here's window A, which is a Gothic arch single hung. Window type E, it's a double hung. Window type G, Gothic arch fixed transom. Window type L, double hung, and window type N, double hung as well. So the detailed proposed scope of work, number 1, the replacement of 60 windows with insulated windows. So again, referencing windows would be the glass of the window, so it would be replaced with insulated windows. That would be taking place on one type G window located on the 3rd floor of the north elevation, one type G window located on the 3rd floor of the south elevation, 12 windows type A located on the 3rd floor of the west elevation, 36 windows type E located on the 2nd and 3rd floor of the north elevation, 5 windows type L located on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floor of the north elevation, and 5 windows type N located on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floors of the north elevation. Number 2, the repair and restoration of the 14 window frames using reclaimed longleaf pine or species to match existing per material testing. So 2 of the window type Gs that are located on the 3rd floor, both the north and the south elevation. 12 of the windows type A that are located on the 3rd floor of the west elevation. And then number 3, the salvage and replacement of 46 window frames using clear ponderosa pine and suitable fine grain lumber. Of 36 windows type E located on the 2nd and 3rd floor of the north elevation, and 5 windows type L located on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floor elevations, and 5 windows type N located on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floor elevation of the north elevation. Number 4, the addition of aluminum cladding to 46 window frames that will be painted to match historic colors of existing windows as per material testing. Of 36 windows type E located on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the north elevation, 5 windows type L located on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floors of the north elevation, 5 windows type N located on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floors of the north elevation. So the background, by the 1996 Historic Urban Design Assessment Report, the City of Laredo identifies this building as a 3-story Gamble Road brick masonry structure done in Gothic revival tradition in circa 1927. The front of the building was an addition that was later made, and the base of the building was executed in a more rusticated manner utilizing a darker brick. The field brick color is in a light brown or a tan color. A rhyme and pattern is achieved by the use of tall, narrow windows, which is repeated on all 3 levels. Only the top windows have a pointed arch transom. Here's a picture of the parish hall. Here's the aerial view, the west street view of 217 San Agustin Avenue, the north street view, and the south street view, which shows the one window that would be taking place there. Here's the site plan. Here are the details and elevations. So here it shows you kind of approximately where the windows would be on the building, and then it shows you the window types and the ones that are going to be affected, lettered. Here's the north elevation and the west elevation. And here are the specs submitted. So that would be the aluminum cladding that was submitted, which would be wood underneath and then just an overlay of the aluminum cladding to protect it. So for staff recommendation, staff supports items 1, 2, and 3. However, staff does not support item 4. Staff supports the following proposed work because it preserves the building's historic appearance while using compatible materials and improving long-term sustainability. We support 1, the replacement of 60 windows with insulated windows. The window replacement maintains the building's historic appearance while improving the long-term sustainability. 2, the repair and restoration of 14 window frames using reclaimed longleaf pine or species to match existing per material testing, which is the proposed work retains original materials and preserves the historic character of the building. Staff supports continuation. Number 3, salvage and replacement of 46 window frames using clear ponderosa pine and suitable fine grade lumber. The proposed wood species provides a compatible, historically appropriate match to the original. Staff does not support the following proposed work because it introduces a non-historic incompatible material that alters the traditional appearance and texture of the wood windows, conflicts with the historic and urban design guidelines, prohibition of aluminum clad systems, and creates a permanent non-reversible treatment that is inconsistent with the Secretary of Interior standards, which would be for the addition of aluminum cladding to 46 window frames that will be painted to match historic colors of existing windows as per material testing. Staff general comments and the proposed motion. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against this item, you can please come forward.
Good afternoon. My name is Teresa Fonseca. I'm an architect on the project, and I was facilities manager for the Diocese of Laredo back in 2015 and through 2020. The reason that we're proposing using the aluminum clad wood windows from Marvin is they're fabricated to match existing, and the cladding is to protect the wood. We have been having window panes falling ever since I was facilities manager in 2015 and before. When we were doing the cathedral restoration, window glass was also falling, and along the north side and the south side. But the north side, I called the city several times to close the street and the sidewalk because we were having the glass falling. Once we did in the package of documents that I submitted, it's a detailed study of the windows. We found that the wood, especially on the north side, was in the worst shape. The third floor windows are more than 50% gone. And what caused the glass to slide down and off of the windows was the lower trim of the upper sash. It has a joint on the right and on the left, and since it's a horizontal trim, rain, wind, all the weather seems to attack it, especially that joint. It gave out, and that piece would fall, and then the glass would just slide down. and sometimes the whole sash would slide down. And so we're trying to protect life safety and welfare by using a product that is more durable on the situation, especially because it's on the third floor. The building has almost 300 windows, and the funding that would be needed to do all the windows is not available. So we have a grant now that we can do something. And so we studied it and identified the worst case scenario, to take care of the worst case scenario, which is the damage on the north side. And those windows are beyond repairing them. And so we're proposing to replace them. And I've spoken to colleagues, architects, historians, and this has been approved by the state before, especially when it's on the third floor, second or third floor. And if you look at this building, the first floor was a gymnasium, so it's a tall floor. So maintaining them is hard, but from a preservation and historian perspective, if people cannot see the windows closely and touch them, there's room for changing the material to be a durable material. I thought back, I've been doing historic preservation since 1980s, and I thought back on why they chose to do wood windows on this building. And thinking back, they probably had the option of wood or steel frame windows, but steel frame windows were used traditionally in industrial buildings and firehouses and those type of things. So wood was probably used because this was a church building, a school building. But because of the weather here in South Texas and the damage that the wood receives from the sun, it was obviously a failure of the wood, and we're trying to protect that and not have it happen again. I too felt that as a historian that I would want it to be wood, but I've had this conversation with several colleagues over the last, when we were doing the cathedral project, which was 5 years ago, or almost 10 years ago. And I asked them, what would you do, and I had, they agreed that a replacement of windows where you could get the energy benefit and the durability was the right thing to do. Otherwise, I like I said, I've done historical work for since the 1980s. I've done hundreds of projects. I would never recommend changing the materials just as the standards say. I was on your board years ago. I was chairman. I would not change it if it wasn't because of life safety. As an architect, we have to protect life safety of the public. And I have to recommend to the diocese that is the right thing to do. In fact, at first, we were looking at replacing all of them. That would be the right thing to do. Otherwise, we're imposing on them a maintenance failure that will continue to happen in the future, and a maintenance demand that is difficult, especially on the north side, because the building is right against the sidewalk and the street. For some reason, the south windows did not get as bad damage, which we would have thought that they would from the south, but the cathedral is within, 7, 8 feet away, and it protected it. The same thing, I did the restoration of the windows at the cathedral, and we found in that case, the south windows were in worse shape than the north windows. And we had to do more restoration on those windows. But this building protected the cathedral from the north side. So
You said that these windows are only on the third floor?
The ones that we're wanting to replace are the ones on the third and the second floor, only because if you're putting up the scaffolding that high to replace the third floor windows, I would prefer to go ahead and do the second floor window. They're the second
So
worst.
item 4 that staff is against is on second and third floor or only?
Second and third floor of the north side only. On the south side, in fact, she mentioned salvaging materials. Anything that we salvage, we can use in the restoration of the south facade.
I also have a comment because here it says that the Secretary of Interior standards, it's because it fails to replicate the tactile texture. And I don't think nobody's gonna go to the third floor windows
Right.
to feel the,
On the inside, they're gonna be wood.
to feel them.
It's only on the
Yes.
outside. It's only
Who's
to
gonna
protect
go
it
up
from
there
the weather.
to
Right.
check the tactile integrity of the,
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's the response I got from my colleagues in
and,
the.
and
in
I
the
do
authority.
believe that our weather is in such extremes that the sun and all of that, it's also damages,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we've been wanting to do this repairs for 10 years, since I was there, and I found out that this was an ongoing problem.
Did you state that the aluminum would be replicated to aesthetically look like wood? Is that,
Yeah, it's a wood window, and the cladding is almost like putting polish on your nail. It's right attached to the wood, so all the detailing of the wood is seen the
Over
same.
the-
Yeah,
okay.
and then it's pre-finished, so once we know what color is the historic color that it was painted, it will be pre-finished aluminum. And so if it's beige, there will be beige,
And if it's matte, matte.
Matte,
and
yeah,
because
exactly.
also the concern was that it was gonna be like glossy aluminum, you know?
no,
Yeah.
we want it to match.
Question for staff. In the rules that come from the historic board, are there any caveats which allow exceptions whenever public safety is involved? Because that's paramount, especially a window falling from the third or second floor.
Well, yes, I mean.
Do they have a caveat for that? Or
No,
it's
I
not
mean, there's,
explicitly
I mean,
stated?
obviously, the health and safety is always an important factor to be considered. With regard to maintenance, everybody understands that the maintenance of buildings is a consideration and significant to all of our budgets, whether it be our homes, but even more so on historic properties. So adequate maintenance of these buildings, I think, would eliminate any concerns with regard to the health and safety or falling windows.
Understood.
So with regard to our position, we're gonna, of course, adhere to the adopted guidelines. And it does identify that cladding is not recommended. So, that is the, sort of the extent of our position with regard to the aluminum cladding.
Understood.
yes.
Have these renderings or material that is gonna be used been presented to the Texas Historical Commission? 'Cause
I have.
Okay,
I
great.
have, the same package you have, they have.
And do you know
Yeah.
what their results were?
They're reviewing it.
Okay.
I've been speaking to them for several months. I provided the information when we started the project, what our intent was. And they were the ones that said we need more detailed study of the condition to see if, and which windows are beyond repair. And that's the reason that we ended up having to do that part of our study to get, and that's, when you see the package I submitted, it's detailed for that reason. I prepared that package both to answer all the questions and concerns of Texas Historical Commission and what I anticipated that you all would need, and for the building permit
Yeah.
process.
Understood.
Thank you.
And they did indicate that they would accept the new windows, but they needed
If not-
just confirmation that the windows, the existing windows were beyond
Yeah.
repair.
I
Of which
figured.
windows were beyond
Yeah.
repair. And that's when we decided type A and G, even if they're beyond repair, we're going to rebuild them because there are Gothic arches and they're significant to the facade. But window E, L, and N are just square windows, rectangular windows. And from the last email from Texas Historical Commission, they addressed both. You know, the process of approving some windows to be replaced and some windows to be renovated.
Got it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
This is a public hearing. Anyone else who wishes to speak in favor or against this item? Are there any other additional questions or comments from the board? If not, what sort of action does the board like to take?
I move to approve all the items, and go against staff on dismissing item number 4.
We have a motion to approve all items dismissing item number 4.
Oh, no.
In support, I'm sorry, in
No.
support
In support of all the items.
So we have a motion
I believe
support.
I believe that there's
1
been
through 4.
enough research on this item, and diligence to try and replicate the best they can while providing safety.
I second that.
So we have a motion, we have,
Can I say a comment?
yes, you may.
And I guess it's for staff, but in the future, if there's another building or another, similar case, how do we, I mean, being that safety is an issue here from the 3rd floor, 2nd floor, do we have to, amend some of these guidelines or do we add,
Well, I mean, if you replace a window, I can't imagine that a regularly maintained, fully functioning window is gonna pose such a safety threat.
Yeah.
That aluminum cladding is required. If you see that your window is becoming damaged or falling into disrepair, you wanna repair it, right? So I don't believe that aluminum cladding is absolutely necessary to prevent health, any kind of health and safety repercussions. Just regular maintenance would accomplish the same goal. And would it impose maybe a slightly additional burden for maintenance? Probably, yes. And that's the issue with regard to historic buildings. I mean, the maintenance of all of our buildings, even the city buildings, it does impose an additional burden to all of our budgets. But I don't believe that this exact item would need to be necessarily amended. Of course, these items are the Secretary of Interior standards and the Urban Historic Guidelines are the standards to which all of our decisions and considerations should be judged upon, right? This is what we need to consider. They're not ordinances. So they're adopted recommendations, guidelines, visions, and standards, but they're not an ordinance. They're not a must, right? You should, right? You should do this. You should adhere to this with regard to these historic properties. So it leaves discretion. So that's why you can recommend or approval of this item.
I agree with staff's bringing this point up, and I believe that that's, as you said, a recommendation, and that's what this board is for. But I'm choosing to, respectfully understanding staff's position, choose to still go with the client's request in this situation.
Okay, so we have a motion to close public hearing and to support items 1 through 4 for approval. Do we have a second? Do we have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Moving on now to item 6C. 6C is amending Chapter 28 of the City of Laredo Code of Ordinances, Article 2, to prohibit illuminated signage for all properties located along all right-of-ways abutting designated historic plazas, providing its severability, establishing an effective date, and providing for publication.
Thank you. So, the City Council recommended, during the City Council meeting of October 20th, 2025, Council directed staff to create an ordinance preventing illuminated signs in and adjacent to the following City of Laredo designated plazas: the San Agustin Plaza, Jarvis Plaza, El Mercado Plaza, Bruni Plaza, and St. Peter's Plaza. So background with sign ordinances: San Agustin Plaza is zoned AE, which is located within the San Agustin de Laredo Historic District. In order to obtain a sign permit in a historic district, you must comply with the sign ordinance, and you must get approval from the Historic District Landmark Board. And it must comply with the sign ordinance, historic urban design guidelines, and the Secretary of Interior standards. The illuminated signage definition is internally and externally lighted signs, reflective signs, glowing or radiating signs. It is categorized as a wall and general signage with a maximum of 72 square feet in historic districts, which would be shown here. So a illuminated sign would go under the wall and general signage. The sign ordinance regulations, it includes external light should be shielded and no direct light cast into residential or public streets. Sign is proportionate to the building and does not dominate the appearance. No significant glare or pose a safety hazard. No blinking, flashing, or animation, in accordance to the sign ordinance. In accordance to the historic urban design regulations, 1 sign per building facade for interior lots. 2 signs are allowed for corner lots. Indirect lighting is preferred. Light source must be concealed. Animated signs are prohibited, and it may not overpower the building or obscure significant architectural features. In accordance with Secretary of Interior standards, here are the regulations. It may not obscure or remove historic materials or features. It must be in line with scale and design of the facade. It must complement the building's historic storefront features and avoid visual disruption. So key points for consideration. It would preserve historic authenticity and visual character. It ensures signage is compatible with surrounding architecture, and it reduces the glare and light pollution near the plazas. It reinforces the city's commitment to historic preservation. It supports the plaza's cultural and pedestrian-oriented role, and it promotes a welcoming, historically appropriate nighttime setting. So while historic districts allow illuminated signage, these are examples of New Orleans, Louisiana, the Bourbon Street, and Savannah, Georgia, which we can see that there is a lot of colors and illuminated signage on. Important historic plazas do limit illuminated signage. So again, this is in New Orleans, Louisiana, and again in Savannah, Georgia. And as you can see, there's a difference with the signage and the colors and the illuminations. So the purpose of this ordinance amendment, the ordinance amendment is to prohibit illuminated signs on properties located along the right-of-ways abutting the perimeter of San Agustin Plaza, Jarvis Plaza, El Mercado Plaza, Bruni Plaza, and St. Peter's Plaza. This purpose would be to align sign regulations with historic preservation goals, protect the architectural integrity and traditional character of Laredo's plazas, and to enhance the appearance of streetscape. These are the proposed amendments. A continuation of the proposed amendments. Continuation of the proposed amendments. The final proposed amendment, and the proposed motion.
What was amended in the table?
It's providing an asterisk so that any sign that's characterized as wall and general signs in historic districts, the prohibition for illuminated signage is applied to that.
Oh, it's got a little asterisk next to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're adding a footnote, I see.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, got you.
So basically, it's very, very simple. Every location in the sign ordinance that addresses signage, we made sure to identify in the section for definitions, for illegal signage, in the chart, in the specifications. It just is going to reflect the same language that says illuminated signs shall be prohibited on all properties located along the right-of-way abutting the perimeter of the following designated plazas, San Agustin, and we identify all the plazas. So that's basically inserting that language everywhere that's appropriate in the sign ordinance. So this is an ordinance, this is not a you should, this is a shall. You know, you have to. So this is it's all gonna be in the code of ordinances.
My only concern with this is in the Texas Historical Commission, we consider to be historic something that is 50 years or older.
Mm-hmm.
The Plaza Theater has been there for more than 50 years. That signage, I believe it's from the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
What did it say, 1947?
Yes.
47.
40s, 50s, okay, so let's say 50s. That if we could make it that it doesn't include the Plaza Theater, so it's protected from the removal. And I think this came to be because last time we had the plasma, the big plasma sign. And even though I felt personally that I was against it, I couldn't find nothing that would support me being against it. And I couldn't pick and choose, you know.
We were sort of in the same position because we reviewed it for compliance and conformity and alignment with all of our typical tools, right?
Yes.
The Secretary of Interior Standards, the Urban Design Guidelines, and the sign ordinance. And you're right,
Yes.
we had to support it because there was nothing that would indicate that that was not something that would be allowed.
And,
So, and this goes forward to do that.
in our last meeting, we had even made some recommendations to the person from the Plasma Center to dim it to this. Well, that didn't happen much because I've been there at night and it's a big plasma sign, you know. So I believe this regulation is needed to avoid that. San Agustin Plaza, for example, it's a sacred plaza.
I think what you're
because the
worried
church is
about
there.
is, again, the code already addresses legal non-conforming uses. So, uses, structures that are already in existence prior to the adoption of the ordinance would enjoy that legal non-conforming status. So, I think it's already addressed, by the code.
Okay.
And then if, for whatever reason, a building owner comes, they find historical evidence that there was neon signage or similar to the plaza or whatever, they could come to the board and
They
get
would
it
have,
approved.
yeah, they would,
If it
because
were-
it's all, to get a sign, to put up a sign anywhere, but especially in the historic district, you need a permit. At the minute that there's a application for a sign permit in a historic district, it gets flagged, and immediately they send the applicant over to planning to have them apply to go to the historic board, because they know that
Yeah.
it's, for almost all intents and purposes, they will need to come
But we
before the
would be
board.
able to like approve if there was like historical evidence of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So you just need a recommendation from the board as
Yes,
far as?
because this is, of course, this has to go to council, so we just need a recommendation from the board.
In my opinion, it looks good. It's not overbearing. It just adds, the asterisks that you need. I don't see, you know, you didn't rewrite it, so. You know, yeah. I think it looks good. And I'm for it whenever you're ready to close. So.
Is this a public hearing? This is just
This is a public hearing? Is it a public hearing? Do we have it as a public hearing? Okay, yes, it is.
Okay,
Sorry.
so this is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against, just for formalities and technicalities? Okay, if not, we can make a motion to close public hearing and give recommendations. So, who would like to do that?
Close public hearing, and I'll make a recommendation to send this off to city council for approval, as written by staff.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Do we have any comments before?
Yes, we do. We wanted to introduce our newest member, Miss Ana G. Villarreal. We had the pleasure of working with Miss Villarreal. She was a planner here at the City of Laredo. We were very sorry when she left. She was a very valuable asset that now City of San Antonio and Austin have been able to take full advantage of. But we are very happy to have her on our board, and I know that she will provide a lot of good input here. So we want to thank her for making this commitment. This is, you have to take time out of your schedule to come over here. It's an addition to her regular, very, very busy schedule. So we want to thank her, and I guess open it up if you want to say a few words or introduce yourself.
Thank you all. I'm very, very happy to be back. I know that I'm reconnecting with some of you, and I'm happy to connect with new faces that I don't know yet. But like Vanessa mentioned, I used to work for the planning department back in 2018 is when I left. Was with the City of San Antonio, the planning department, and now I'm with the the City of Austin Planning Department, but still live in Laredo half time, part of my time, and I'm happy to be here to serve the community that I love, and specifically the historic district Landmark Board, because I love our
Congratulations.
downtown, and I'm excited to be here. Thank y'all.
Welcome to the board. It's good to have you back.
Thank you.
I guess other than that, I just wanted to give just a quick mention to Ms. Fresnillo. She wrote this ordinance, it's her first ordinance that she wrote, so I thought she did a really good job. And I just wanted to give her a hand. So, thank you so much.
It is a big feat.
It was.
Yeah, so
It was very well done,
congratulations.
especially her first go round. It's intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
It's not anything that it's a bit, can be overwhelming. I remember 25 years ago being assigned my first ordinance, and so she did a great job. So thank you so much.
Great job.
Congratulations.
That's it for me.
All right. If there's no other comments, then we have a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. And this is a little bit different than what we normally discuss, but, no, it's not a bad thing. So, you know, in the last couple of meetings, we've had people coming to us and not being aware of what we do, and I didn't know this, and why didn't I get prepared? And I think we've discussed it just lightly about how can we promote your efforts and our efforts and make it not only be police and be like this no sayers, but to make it into a positive thing to where there's energy
Well, I'm glad
with our board
glad you
and
mentioned
you
that.
guys.
Because we think about the same things, and we thought, how can same thing. We've been hearing people buy, properties in the historic district with full intentions to demolish, with absolutely no idea that there's other regulations, that there's an overlay, that preservation is absolutely necessary. So, in an attempt to try to make sure that people know, we've developed a flyer, right? So we're gonna do a mail out. I don't know if you all keep up with the city's social media. So we have it up there, our flyer. I wish we had it. Maybe we'll bring it. We'll send it to you guys.
Oh, I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, you saw our flyer. So what we're gonna do is also mail it out to all properties in the historic district, which it says sort of welcome to the historic district, and giving them a very, very basic understanding that, if you're going to sort of thanking them for preserving our cultural and historic legacy of our community, but also letting them know if you're going to make repairs or renovations, alterations, come and talk to us. Come to the planning department to talk about it before you get too far down the road, and so we can give them an understanding of
Do you
what's
believe
necessary.
that real estate agents should be given like a course, given like a training, given like a informational session as to when they're gonna sell you something in a historic district, that inform your clients that they're gonna be subject to these guidelines and these regulations,
I don't think that it could. I mean, all engagement. I can't imagine that it would hurt. That's just.
It could be like an open call to all
yeah.
real estate agents and companies to come to an informative meeting, where you're gonna explain, okay, if you sell, please advise, because then, your client might become a surprise that, oh, I didn't know,
That's a great idea. We'll put it on our list.
Adding to that, it's almost kind of like re-educating our downtown organizations, like when Laredo Main Street, Texas, Laredo Center for the Arts, Webb County Heritage, because sometimes I feel like I've been part of those organizations in the past, and sometimes I feel like we are disconnected a little bit, or not knowing who's doing what and what efforts. And I think what you guys do, it's great. We establish, you guys do research and figure out to keep the integrity of our historic downtown. But then Center for the Arts and Webb County Heritage and Laredo Main Street, they're doing their own thing. But so I would like to suggest, maybe in the future, is doing like a workshop like that to bring everybody together and really showing what we're all about. We're not just here to slam the gavel and say no or whatever it is, but to educate them, because some of these owners go to these organizations. I know for a fact Main Street, and sometimes Main Street might not be fully educated on what they can recommend. Besides,
We can certainly put that on our list of things that we want to consider. We do on the building side of things, we do on a quarterly basis, we do workshops. And we'll probably partner with them and maybe do something with them to give a sort of a historic district 101 type
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
you know?
I mean, I'll volunteer if you need help, even in promoting it,
And we have dealt here mainly with businesses, but there's a very important aspect of the historic community that's residents. And that's people that don't have a lot of money, that don't have the architect firm behind them, coming with a tremendous package, that need guidance because they cannot spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on an architect to come and make plans because they want to fix a window, you know. So they need guidance and help, because the other aspect of it is just letting your house rot because you don't have the tools and the monies to come up with a solution so for something to get approved, you know. So I think the residents needs to be helped. I live in St. Peter's neighborhood, and you see people from all income levels. And if somebody, you know, that saved up to fix a window, all of a sudden has to go through the permit and the architect and the drawings and all of that, it's overwhelming. And I know that the criteria from the city is, well, if you have a building, you should maintain it and you should do this and do that, and it's kind of your problem where money comes from, yeah. But some of these people have lived there all their lives, you know. It was their mom's home, their grandmother's home, and they inherited and they've been part of those neighborhoods all of their life. It's a burden that they carry, because having a historic home, it's sometimes a burden. Why not let's help them a little bit, you know? And information is a tool to become a better citizen and be able to do things right.
And we completely agree, and that's why we wanted to sort of have this engagement with them and just send to everybody in all property owners in the historic district, giving them that heads up. Hey, come talk to us. You know, hey, come to our offices. Our doors are wide open. We're here to help you. Exactly that. We are here to help you. So that's what was the message that we want to get out there. That was the intention of our mail out. So that should be going out very, very soon,
I want to
right?
make a comment on that. I've mentioned it several times on this board. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. San Antonio has a beautiful program that does this very, very well. And if we can just even mimic a little bit of what they're doing, we would be good. Like, we don't have to think
And
about it.
they have
It's already-
incentives also for people that fix their properties. There's
Yeah.
some tax
Oh,
incentives.
remember the
From
tax
grants,
incentives, the NEZ program covers all historic districts. So the
Yeah.
city is already investing pretty heavily in helping the members of the historic district address their property concerns. So the NEZ program is there, the facade program is there, where the city is actually giving money and loans out to people to fix the facades
Are
of
they
their
still doing
buildings.
that?
Yeah, they're still out there. I think the money was fully given out last year, but this is a new FY.
Oh, nice.
So the city is doing quite a lot. The TERS board is working very, very hard to improve the downtown. So there's a lot of effort going on to
He
improve
can get a
that.
bright sign for his front yard. Partially funded.
Lots of
Yeah,
money.
There's no
Well, thank you so much, everybody. We
Can
really
I have a
appreciate it.
motion to adjourn? There's no other comments or questions?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries, we adjourn.
Thank you.